Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
Tonight, we're going to talk about a pretty big, fairly big, kind of big, bourbon haul from yesterday. I went and did a little bourbon hunting yesterday with Shona's good graces. What do you think?
Yeah.
Stick around just a minute, guys. We'll be right back to tell you. Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so what do you got in your glass tonight?
I honestly just have some 1792 small batch.
Small batch. Nice. I've got a little Castle and Key.
Yeah.
I figured since I spent the day in Kentucky,
Yesterday.
even though I didn't go to Castle and Key,
Yeah.
I would have a little celebratory pour.
As you should.
I should.
I just kind of wanted to keep it a little bit lighter tonight. We've been blending whiskey all day today. So
We have. We went to High Bank Distillery in Columbus, Ohio today,
with some of our friends.
and we did a bourbon whiskey
Blending
class.
experience. It was great.
It was really, really a cool experience.
It was.
Shauna and I each had our own blend.
Yep. We'll introduce those later.
Yeah, we'll talk about those another day.
But today, we're here to talk about your Kentucky experience.
We are.
You and Mike and Terry and everybody yesterday.
So I was invited to go with Mike and Terry.
So before Brian gets into what he got yesterday, I would like you all to know where he failed. He really failed his wife.
Let's tell the story.
I was sitting at home, patiently waiting. Didn't even know this until last night during the live.
I'm going to have some bourbon.
And I found out that my husband had a chance to get a bottle, any wild turkey bottle he wanted, and have it signed by Jimmy Russell. But nope, he was afraid he'd get in trouble. Even after everything you see that he bought yesterday, and I did not give him one iota of a hard time, he was afraid to buy a $40 or $50 bottle to have it signed. So tell the viewers that story, in case they missed the live.
I feel like you could make it so much more dramatic and hateful towards me.
It's not hateful. It's just, it's kind of a fail. It's a fail on his part. It's a fail on Mike and Terry's part.
Okay.
They did not even text me to say, hey, you need to straighten your husband
Long
out.
story, I'll try to make it as short as possible. We go to Wild Turkey. Mike and Terry both had bottles that they wanted to try to have signed by Jimmy Russell. For those of you that don't know, Jimmy is known to spend some time in the gift shop on a regular basis signing bottles. So we get there. They have been rebuilding the gift shop, and for a couple years you've gone to this little shack down the road from the distillery. But we knew that the gift shop was completed and opened, and we weren't sure where it was at. So we find it. Terry and I wait in the car. We send Mike in to recon to see if Jimmy's there and if he's signing bottles. Mike comes back to let us know that he is in fact not there, and he was told that if he stops in, it would be after lunch. Well, this is, I don't know, it's probably around 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were kind of making our rounds, and once we left there, it wasn't going to be an option to come back after lunch. So we're pulling out, drive up the road up out of the gift shop, sitting at an intersection, and here comes this. I may be off on my year, but I'm going to say I'm pretty close.
This year is like a fish story. It always gets bigger every time he tells it. So,
Say like a 1989 Chrysler minivan coming down over the hill. It was tired. It was tired. Comes down over the hill, and it stops to wait to see what we're doing because it's kind of an intersection. No stop signs or anything like that. And Mike in the back seat says, "It's Jimmy." And I look, and sure enough, it's Jimmy Russell driving this antique of a minivan. So we said to Terry, ask him if he's going to sign bottles. So Terry pulls right up next to him, rolls his window down. Hey, Jimmy, are you going to the gift shop to sign bottles? Of course, Jimmy looks concerned because,
I would too, guys. I would
you know,
too.
and he says that he is. And Terry says, well, we've got a couple bottles that we'd like to have you sign for us. Would you sign bottles if we brought them in? And of course, Jimmy lit up with a big smile and said, I'm heading there right now. So we head back down over the hill to the gift shop. They get their bottles signed. I did not buy a bottle to have signed. If you guys really knew my wife, you'd understand. Really, you would. I'm not even going to get into all that.
He's just trying to get himself out of big trouble. But anyways, it's okay.
Anyway, that was probably one of the highlights of the day.
One of the highlights? It wasn't the major highlight, I don't think.
What was the major highlight?
Well, we need to tell everybody.
Well, that's what I said. That was one of the highlights of the
Yeah,
day.
but it wasn't the major because you didn't even have anything signed.
Oh my God. So we went to Kentucky. There was a huge bourbon drop happening at, of all places, a Kroger grocery store in Union, Kentucky. Where's Union, Kentucky? You have to look on a map. Because
Terry drove, he did not.
Because Terry drove. Anyway, they had over 3,000 allocated bottles that they were going to have available for people to purchase. As you can assume, that many bottles is going to draw a very large crowd, and it did. They had advertised that they would give out 1,000 wristbands for people to actually have a chance to go into the store to purchase bottles. They would, after they issued wristbands, that happened at 4 a.m. At 6 a.m. they would draw 25 numbers. And if your wristband was one of those 25, you got to go into the store in the order of what they drew those numbers. There were 3 tables inside the store, starting at the nicest stuff to the least desirable stuff, I'll call it.
Still
It was all
desirable.
good stuff. All 3 tables was good stuff. And then there was a counter that didn't play into a factor. You could choose whatever you wanted off the counter. But really, the 3 tables. So anyway, long story short on this, my wristband was we don't remember exactly. We're going to say it was like the 5th number drawn. If it wasn't the 5th, it was the 6th, but it was really early in the drawing. So the cool thing was, there was a mob of people, so it took you a minute to get to the door. And there was somebody there with a checklist checking numbers to make sure that your number had been called. And if somebody, like the next number that got called, that guy got to the door before I did. But he was waiting, and they wouldn't let him in until I got there. So I verified my number, they cut my wristband off, I went in the store, and from there, I get to the first table. The first table had lots of good stuff on it. Lots of good stuff.
How hard was it to pick? Like,
You know what, for me it was really hard to pick because I had looked at what was available.
mm-hmm.
But honestly, I didn't put a lot of thought into it as to what I was
'Cause
going
you
to
didn't
pick.
think you were going to be
Because, I mean, come on, what's the chances?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get there. There were 7 people in our group total, and I'm the only one that got drawn. So I really didn't expect any of us to get to go.
So when you got to that first table, did anxiety, nerves?
Yeah, actually, there was a lot of anxiety, and it was built because the gentleman that was in front of me was on the phone with somebody,
Who knows?
significant other, who knows. But he was actually telling whoever it was every bottle that was on the table. So I didn't get upset or anything. I mean, there's no point getting upset. Number one, I'm exhausted at that point because I've been up for 24 hours. And it's like, well, it is what it is. So once he moved out of the way and it was my turn to make a pick, I kind of looked over the table, and there was lots of stuff on the table. There were B-Tacs, there was some Blanton stuff. I'm wanting to say there was Eagle Rare on that table. Can't remember for sure. But there was, what I ended up with off that table was a old Rip Van Winkle 10-year. That's what I ended up with off of table 1.
Super excited. Honestly, we've never thought we would ever get a BTAC because the Ohio lottery, bottle lottery, we've entered for every time for like the
I'd
last
say
couple years.
we've probably entered it 6 times.
And
Nothing.
Never, ever anything.
Nothing.
And so, pretty exciting because this is a bottle that we never thought we'd own.
Yeah, it really is.
And we are anxious to open it with our friends.
Yeah, it'll be a good day whenever that is.
We open everything, basically everything.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, when you have a channel like this, that's why we get stuff. We get stuff to share it and talk about it and tell everybody what we think of it. Everybody might not agree with us, but we're going to give you our opinion on what we think about it.
right.
This is a bottle that will probably be more.
It'll be a bonus round on a live.
Yeah, it'll
with
probably
Mike
be a
and Mark.
bonus. It'll probably be a bonus. But honestly, I mean, we'll be giddy, and
And Mike won't let Mark vote for it.
I hope we won't be disappointed. I'm sure we won't be.
No, I'm sure we won't be. So what else did you get?
So that was exciting.
That is table number 1.
So I leave table number 1. I slide a few feet to table number 2. Again, it's hard to pick because everything on these tables, for the most part, there was stuff that we see from time to time here at home. Eagle Rares and Blantons and these things. Table 1 was really the most difficult because you never see BTAC. You never see Blanton's Gold. You never see stuff like that.
Not unless it's the lottery drawing.
So I get to table 2,
Super excited about this.
and
one,
I
guys.
end up with a Michter's 10-year, which is really pretty exciting. We've gotten to be kind of fond of the Michter's product. I honestly had never seen a Michter's 10. I'm not saying it should have like a spotlight shining on it. Yeah, nothing like that.
I think it should.
But I was pretty excited. That's actually what the guy in front of me also chose, and he was excited.
Look how gorgeous this bottle is.
It is a beautiful
This
bottle.
is one sharp bottle. I love the bottle.
I feel like had Shona been with me and there was no label on any of the bottles, she'd have picked that bottle.
Oh, I would have. It's an eye-attractive bottle.
I'd been like, that is so pretty.
Yeah, I mean, this one's like a wine bottle. I get those all the time. This one is just sharp. I love it. Talk about bottles.
So, I finish up at station number 2, go to station number 3. Now, the picks are a lot slimmer on table 3. I mean, we even had Buffalo Trace on table 3.
Thanks for not getting it.
Listen,
I would have been like, really?
if I'd have come home
You
with a
could
Buffalo
not
Trace,
have got a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 and had Jimmy Russell sign it, but you picked up Buffalo Trace.
if I'd have come home with a Buffalo Trace, you could have banned me from bourbon shopping forever.
You better believe it.
I'd have banned myself. So that's the other thing, guys. I had an entourage of bourbon hunters in the parking lot waiting on me.
To see what he got.
Imagine the stress and the pressure I was feeling.
I pity him so much.
I mean, all I could think was if I go out there with a bottle of Buffalo Trace, out of all this stuff I had to pick from, I may walk home.
You wouldn't have walked home.
I don't know.
You'd have walked
It's been
somewhere.
bad. Anyway, table number 3, I ended up with a Baker's number 7. Have we had Baker's number
No.
7? We have not.
I'm anxious to try it.
We are looking forward to it. We've seen it a lot.
If you've had Baker 7, let us know what you think. I'm anxious to try it. I'm not going to lie. I'd never even heard of it until you mentioned it yesterday. However,
I've seen the bottle. It's a really cool bottle, so it's easy to remember.
It is. It's a really cool bottle. I love the cork look. So I could see why you picked that. It's an eye-appealing bottle. Very nice color. I'm anxious to try it.
And actually, if you look, all three of those are really dark and rich.
Yeah.
Great color on all three of them. But you're 10-year, and a 7-year, so
Yeah.
you would expect some dark, rich color.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I'm sorry, guys. I've truly never heard of Baker's. But it's a Jim Beam product.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's going to be good. 107 proof?
So in our journey, Mike and Terry, who I was riding with, so the way this drawing works, they draw the 25 ID bracelets or wrist bracelets, and let's just say the 25th bracelet is number 300, whatever it is, but we'll say it's 300. So now the remaining people, starting at number 301, line up for their chance to go into the store. So it goes 301 through, in this case it was 1,250 bracelets. And then it goes to number 1 up to 299.
So they drew 25 numbers.
Yep.
So you're saying if
Whatever the last number
bracelet
was they drew,
300, then it would have started with 301.
that's where the line
Okay.
starts.
Gotcha.
The line
Okay.
starts at 301. Mike and Terry were going to be roughly 600 or 700 numbers back. They would have got something. Obviously, they would have got something because there was that much stuff there. But it probably would have been maybe a Stag or a Blanton's, you know,
Something we have.
something that they have already enough that they didn't. So Terry was like, you know what, congratulations, we're happy for you, fist bump, let's go. And so we pile in the car, we say goodbye to the others, and we start down the road. And we went to Heaven Hill. They weren't really doing much yesterday. Mike did get a bottle there. I can't tell you what it was. I can tell you it was finished in coffee, which did not sound appealing to me whatsoever.
I think it kind of does.
Well, our bottle's still at the distillery. I did not get it.
I'll try Mike's.
So from there we went to Lux Row. One of my bottles on my top 500 bottles for the year 2024 was Blood Oath Pack 10. What did they have at Lux Row yesterday? But Blood Oath. So, on this awesome trip that I took, I was able to check off
His very first.
my very first Blood Oath Pack 10.
Yeah. So this is, remember at the beginning of the year we did our top 5 bourbons or whiskeys that we are hunting this year. I have found 2 of mine. This is Brian's first one of the year. So
It is. Thank you. So that was pretty exciting. That was, I was excited about that. Just, it's been starting to drop here in Central Ohio last week. I didn't go anywhere last week to try to get anything because I knew I was taking this trip, and I didn't know what. I knew we would do some shopping aside from if we got anything or not at the bourbon drop. So I was like, you know what, I'm not. I wanted this. We're waiting on Russell's 15 to drop, and I was like, boy, I hope that doesn't drop this week because. Anyway, it worked out. This did drop locally. Russell's 15, we found out while we were at Wild Turkey, is still at the warehouse. It has not left Kentucky yet. So we went to Four Roses. They bought they bought a t-shirt and a jigger, a couple little things, but nobody bought any bourbon at Four Roses. One thing I found is, I think most Four Roses product you can walk into the liquor store and buy. It's not really a matter of going to Four Roses to get something special.
There is a Four Roses that's on my hunt list for this year,
Okay.
and it is a limited release. So I think it'll come out this fall.
Okay.
So they do have a limited release item, and so we will be hunting for it this fall.
Okay. Okay. Great, beautiful facility. If you're ever in the area and you're in your distillery hopping, looked like they had a really nice tasting facility right off the side of the gift shop. The grounds themselves, beautiful trees, the lawn was gorgeous, the buildings, it's an older facility, but it really was a beautiful place. The building looked like, it put me in mind of,
Tuscany!
no, not Tuscany.
Mike told me Tuscany.
Mike's crazy. When you walk in the gift shop, it put me in the mind of a really nice, classy, expensive pro shop. Like if you went to a nice golf course, it was just
I was thinking
really,
Tuscany out of a golf
because
shop.
Mike's goofy. That's how. Mike, if you're watching, I'm sorry,
I'm glad to go there to verify for myself.
but you are. So, from there, where'd we go from there? Let's hit a couple bourbon stores and see if we can find anything. So, Terry's driving, I'm riding, Mike's in the back seat. He stayed awake long enough to look at his phone looking for bourbon stores, liquor
Okay,
stores.
see?
So
He did
the
his part.
first place he directs us to, I'm not even sure where we were, but the building looked to be about 20 feet wide and 40 feet deep looking from the outside in. Nowhere to park. So we told Mike as we're pulling up, Mike, tuck and roll. So we opened the door, pushed him out, he rolled across the sidewalk into the store. We pulled around the back, found some illegal parking, sat there, text Mike, said, hey, come out back when you're done. And here he come with a bag, and he had gotten a couple little bottles in there. I don't even remember what Mike got, honestly. He talked about one of them last night on the live, and I can't remember what it was.
So Four Roses 2024 limited edition small batch is what's on mine
Great. 2024 limited edition small batch.
from Four Roses.
Okay. Okay. So we went to another store. A little bit nicer. I didn't buy anything. I don't know what I was really looking for.
He was still hyped up.
I was hyped. I was still hyped up.
From honestly, probably just getting this
No,
one.
from all of it up to the point. From all of it up to that point. And I saw lots of stuff in the store that I wanted. But I felt like I was in Kentucky and I may find something really good. And so I didn't want to blow buying something on something that was just eh. For instance, we recently had a second granddaughter. And her middle name is McKenna. And I would like to get a bottle of McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
Can't find it locally. It is available in Ohio, but we just haven't found it. Every place we went yesterday had it. And I had it in my hand a couple times, but I was like, you know, I might find something I want more. So I will get the
I
McKenna.
am glad that I sit right here on your shoulder when you're shopping.
Yeah, you've done this to me. You've ruined me. Anyway, the last store we went to, I take that back, because we went to a little hole-in-the-wall store after lunch, but we just walked in and walked around and left. So the last nice store we went to, guys, Shona and I, when we go bourbon hunting, we're kind of particular about where we go in. We are. It's got to be a attractive looking storefront and it's scary, non-scary.
Non-scary.
Looking.
Sorry, guys. I know the scary ones are where you find this stuff.
When
but
you go with Mike and Terry, the scarier the better, really. I mean, that's where we're going. We're going to some scary looking places. So we go into the store, unbelievable. You walk in the door and it's just like the holy grail of bourbon hunting. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. There's cases stacked in the corners and it's all good stuff, right? So,
what were you excited about getting only till you found out that you had to have points?
It was at that store. And it was in the back of the store, kind of tucked away where nobody would ever look, but there was a glass case on a counter. It was dark, like
In the museum.
there were no lights back there other than ambient light coming from the front of the store. And I look in this case and I see Weller and I see E.H. Taylor, single barrel, small batch, barrel proof. I didn't see any rye, but I saw Weller green and Weller red, and Blanton's. There was just all kind of stuff in there. And then all of a sudden, in the very bottom of the shelf, I see a decanter of Old Fitz 8-year. I think I told you it was 8-year.
I think so.
It was $119. And I honestly don't know if $119 was a good number. I think it's fair. Anyway, I was like, you know what, I'm not even calling and ask for permission on that. It's going on with me. And I'm excited. I said, they got Old Fitz, Mike, they got Old Fitz. And he's like, no, they don't. I'm like, it's right there, I see it. You gotta have points. So it's a store that if you do your shopping there, you earn points. The gentleman at the cash register told us it's 1 point per dollar you spend on that store. They never expire. So you had to have, I think it was 1,100 points. And if you had 1,100 points, then you could spend $119 to buy that bottle. So
if it was local, really, we wouldn't have a problem buying it.
we would not. And actually the guy, I think it was the owner. If he wasn't the owner, he was the manager. But I think he was the owner at the cash register. And in a brief conversation between the four of us, I think he was willing to break the points rule for some of the stuff that was in the case, but
Just
not for
not the
that.
Old Fitz.
Yeah, not for that. So it's cool. I mean, one day we'll get it, and it's not on.
It's not on
a list or anything because I mean, come on, we're not expecting to go out and find it. But I thought I had it. I thought I found it. Anyway, while we were at that store, Shona and I, if you guys watch the show. You may know that we had a viewer recommend a bottle of Blue Note Juke Joint Whiskey to us several months ago.
The uncut.
We were able to locate that. The boys found that for us in Tennessee.
Yep.
We got it early this year, did a review on it, and we enjoy it. And in fact, we've already got a backup bottle for it. So, Mike and Terry and I were walking up and down the aisles, and I saw that bottle, which is kind of cool when you see stuff like that you can't get at home. It's like, oh, hey, there that is. Next to it was a bottle of Blue Note Crossroads. And so really more than anything, I just grabbed it because I saw the Blue Note name, and I was like, well, that's different. I've never seen that. And I was reading it, and Mike came up and he said, that's really good, I have that, it's really good. So I took a picture of it and sent it to Shona. And Shona says,
Mike says that's really good.
hey, Mike has that, says it's really good. I said, I know, I heard. So she said, well, how much is it? And I think it was $56, I think is what I told you. And she was like, well, just go ahead and get it. So, again, another bottle. Picked up on a great day, on a great weekend, that will get opened.
Yep. All of these are.
With some
I can't
friends.
wait. Yep.
I don't know. I feel like I did pretty good.
Yeah.
I got 5 bottles that I think are going to be good. I didn't get thrown out of the house yet. I brought these home, and I still have a key. Well, not really. I don't. I never had a key, actually. What's up with that?
I don't figure you need one.
I have a garage door opener though. So as long as she doesn't lock the house door inside the garage, I'm good.
So as long as I don't unplug the garage door.
She's thought about that, clearly. So guys, that is my big day yesterday. I think got home in time to change my clothes and wash up real quick. And do a live show.
Yeah, so if you didn't have a chance to see that, please log in. We did, yesterday was World Whiskey Day.
Yep.
And so we celebrated it by tasting 5 different whiskeys from around
Shona
the
was
world.
on the live with Mike and I.
I was. It was kind of painful, guys. I know I'm not as good as Mark, but hey, I tried.
Well,
I tried. Nobody can top Mark and you two. I mean, you and Mike and Mark guys are the ultimate
I don't know.
up here. But I tried to fill in for Mark.
We do have fun, but we had fun with you.
We'll
You
see.
said some things that were off the wall funny.
Okay.
Unlike you, totally unlike
Hey,
her.
so if you're wanting to see some of the after hour stuff from our lives, be sure to check out our Patreon page. We have all kinds of options out there for you. So a little, plug there for that. Check it out.
And I believe we're still working on getting everything put together for that Patreon page, but we're going to be offering some really cool items
Yep.
exclusive to our Patreon members.
Yeah.
One of the big things that I'm excited about is it'll be a personalized decanter.
No, not decanter. That's not one of the options on there,
Oh,
guys.
okay.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought it was.
No, there'll be.
No, that's something that's not on there, but we got one
we
just
got
to see
one,
how
sorry.
it worked out.
We got some rocks glasses.
Rocks
we
glasses.
got bourbon. What are they called? The lids.
The lids.
On the barrels. What are those
Oh.
called? Sorry, I'm sorry, guys.
The barrel lids.
They are.
I can't think of the name of it.
I am sorry, guys. This is bad.
It's been a long weekend.
Yep, barrel heads.
Barrel heads.
Barrel heads.
Barrel
Yeah,
heads.
an engraved barrel head.
Somebody's watching this right now hollering at the TV going, barrel heads.
Barrel heads. We did blend our own whiskeys today, guys, so bear with us. So all kinds of options. So engraved whiskey glasses, name in the video credits, Discord access, leather wrapped flask,
Personalized barrel heads.
a challenge coin. I am super excited for the challenge coin. I am working on designing that now. Bryan is a veteran, and so I want to not only make it whiskey themed, but also veteran themed, and it will be released every Veterans Day every year. We'll have a new one. I'm super excited about that one. The baseball caps, the leather patch baseball caps. Whiskey tastings via Zoom. We'll be sending out samples.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into those.
Yeah, those are
going
going to be fun. Then, just like this, when we go out bourbon hunting and we pick up the allocated stuff, each quarter we'll be offering one of our allocated bottles that we are lucky enough to pick up to one of our patrons at cost that we pick it up. If they'll be drawn for a chance to win it. T-shirts, samples, all kinds of fun stuff. So be sure to check it out.
So different things available at different levels.
Yep.
Not everything is available at every level. However, if it's available at the first level, it'll be available all the way through, right?
Yes,
Each
absolutely.
level. Okay. So that's something we're just getting off the ground and trying to get going with it. We're looking forward to that if we're going to continue to grow the channel, which we plan fully on doing so.
Absolutely.
But we're going to need to get things like that going to continue.
Yep.
So, I think that's about all I've got. It was a great weekend for bourbon hunting. We're excited to try some of this stuff. If you've had any of this, I know Shona said earlier, if you've had Baker 7, let us know what you think. But honestly, if you've had any of it, or if you're curious about any of it, drop us a comment.
Yep.
Let us know what you thought about it. Let us know, hey, I'd like to have some of that.
Yes.
And, geez, I don't know, I'm at a loss.
Thanks, everyone.
Hit the like button. If you don't do anything else, guys, please hit that like button. Just real simple. Hit it. Thumbs up, like. If you like what we're doing,
Subscribe button.
hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, if you're already subscribed, don't worry about it. Share it. Tell your friends about us, and drop us a comment. So until next time, guys, thanks for joining us, and be safe.